think is something we should believe in for affirmation?
That whichever way you see God is the way you should see yourself. My creative coordinator, she works really close to me, and she pretty much facilitates all of the integral operations between our clients and the agency and the team members that are at the Idea Girl agency. And she said, I'm very transparent, and I have no problem saying how I feel as long as my form of communication isn't designed to hurt someone. Mm-hmm. So I will tell you how I feel and let you know, but hey girl, this is the goal of this conversation. So I was talking to her this morning, and she said to me, Brittany, I don't know when you mess up until you tell me that you've messed up. I think you're divine. Ooh. And I was like,
a good friend. That's a good teammate too.
I was like, what? And it just let me know how hard I am on myself. Mm-hmm. I literally pick myself apart for every single little thing. But how can I look at the one thing that I come from and think that it's the most amazing thing possible that can never do wrong and not see myself in that same light as I see that? Right. I realized that my habits come from the people who are around me the most, which are my parents.
Right.
So my mom literally said the other morning, she's like, oh man, my day feels so weird. I didn't pray or meditate first. And I was like, you pray and meditate before your day starts? And she's like, yeah. Subconsciously, I went in my room and prayed and meditated because I was like, wow, the person that I came from does this. Yeah. It's almost as if I should do this. So we develop those habits from people around us. Yeah. But even just starting your day, I think one of the best pieces of advice I can say for anyone, just whatever journey you're on, is to just be grateful for where you are now.
That gratitude.
Gratitude will change everything.
When you have gratitude in your heart, it affects the way you see things and also the way you create things. So Absolutely. I think, and then when creating vision boards, I remember my first vision board was just like, okay, ooh, this is something. Oh, this is cute. Let me just put it there, just because it was cute. And then I realized when I started making more of them that, okay, this has to be a little bit more intentional.
A vision board, we need to stop looking at it as like a masterpiece and realizing that it's more so of a puzzle. And sometimes you might not have this right piece in the right place at the right time, but somehow everything always ends up coming together in the end of it. Once you figure out, okay, this didn't work out over here. Let me just shift this. Oh, this fits here. Mm-hmm. So looking at it as a puzzle piece instead of an actual masterpiece.
Right.
I've wanted to do so many different things that I thought I was going to do. I graduated from school with a degree in fashion merchandising. I do not do fashion merchandising, evidently. I'm a creative director. But I majored in fashion design since I was 14 years old in high school. And I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was 7 years old. Right. If you asked me what I wanted to do, it was a fashion designer. I had my notebook in class. I wouldn't do work because my notebooks were filled with outfits for all of my Barbie dolls. By the time I got older, I started perfecting my craft and I got better and better and better at fashion illustration. But I didn't really know what was out there. My teacher had told me at the time in high school that Black women don't really make it in the fashion industry.
That's what they told you.
However, seeing women like Hanifa and seeing women like Faye Noel, I was like, damn, I wish that I would have seen y'all when I was in high school because I would have never gave up. It's like my last job, I was working at Calvin Klein on the project management team, and I will say this over and over, the fashion industry is not the best place for Black women. It just is not. Yeah. It just is not. And I learned project management. I was like, why did I get this job?
What's the point?
Why do I have project management? Project management is one of the things that have helped me scale my business.
Yeah.
I needed that. I needed project management in order for me to scale, in order for me to get more clients, in order to complete projects on time.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I'm like, wow, my whole career has been preparing me for this moment my entire life. When I was a little girl, I used to see myself as an adult, like badass bitch, walk into an office, throwing her fur coat down. Seen that, but never did I think it would be for myself.
Right.
I always just seen it as like
a vague,
I was like, all I know is I'm making thousands of dollars.
It just works out.
But it's not always going to work out the way that you've envisioned it, which is fine, and that's okay. You have to be patient with yourself and just understand that Every single piece around you is a piece to the puzzle.
Do you have advice for people who just kind of don't know how to move on from the last chapter as much as comfortable as they were? Do you have any advice for that?
I'm not a fan of comfortability.
Okay.
When I'm too comfortable, I know it's time for me to level up. And that's when typically life starts making me very uncomfortable. So I'm like, the fire is underneath that ass, baby.
To get going.
Letting go. I think you have to get to a point when you recognize whether or not something is working.
Okay.
You have to analyze and say, has this made any impact in my life? What impact has it made? Has it been more negative than it has been positive? Vice versa. What is this serving me? Does it still serve a purpose?
Yeah.
Once you ask yourselves that question, then you can decipher whether or not something should stay or go. Whether that is platonic relationships with other people, whether that is relationships. I am really
Jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the type of, you would never hear me as an entrepreneur be like, you need to quit your job tomorrow and follow your dreams.
No.
I am not that person. Before I pursued my job, what I do now full time, I was smart about it.
Yeah.
I didn't really have an opportunity because I got fired to prepare for it. Like I didn't get the chance to save $20,000 before I jumped ship. But those kind of things help. It makes your life a lot easier. It's that fire. But overall, I think you just have to remember that life is short. It's very, very, very short. And that if there's something you want to do, you shouldn't really hesitate on it just because of what your ego thinks or society thinks or what your parents think. So far as just letting things go, as long as you can just separate yourself emotionally from it, but just always have a love for it. Like kind of like I love it, but I'm not in love.
Not enough to hold on to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think with all of our vision boards that we're working on, whether you want to travel or you want to maybe go back to school or you want to you want to move somewhere, things of the sort, it's like all of that is going to cost money. But I think the relationship that we have with money sometimes can get in the way it can get in the way of our affirmations and the gratitude that we have. Because if you're always thinking like, okay, yeah, I want to visit 1,400 countries this month. Oh, how am I going to do that if I don't have the resources? So how have you seen in your experience the ways that people restrict themselves by thinking and lacking?
Well, you never will have if you think you don't have. You literally just said it.
Yeah.
So if you think you don't have enough, guess what? You'll never have enough. Because nothing is ever going to be good enough for you. I think what it is that, for one, I don't say I'm broke. Those words do not leave my mouth because everyone who says that they're broke, guess what? They're broke. So I started changing my mindset to I'm abundant. Yeah. I have more than I need right now. Like, why am I stressing out about a bill that I got to pay in 2 weeks? Yeah. It's not 2 weeks. Yeah. Let me think about it when it gets here. And I'm letting that ruin my life. I'm letting that affect the time that I spend with other people. I'm letting that affect the me time that I have with myself because I'm stressing over something I have no control over. Right. Yeah, of course I could work harder and try to make that money up. But the point is that sometimes we stress over things that we don't really have control over right now in this very moment. Yeah. Vision board is your life. Like literally everything around you is your vision board. So this is just an allegorical representation of everything that's around you. The vision board is literally everything that you're calling into your life and just kind of having a place where you can see everything at a quick glance at once. It helps you get everything that's going on in your mind that you affiliate yourself with, especially with success or whatever it is, and just putting it right there in front of you. So even the way it looks more of like a collage because it's kind of like the way your mind works. Yeah. And even though it might not make sense in your head, once you see it in front of you, it might make just a bit more sense. But the mindset has everything to do with it. I had this book when I was about 20 years old. My boss gave it to me. It was called Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. And in the book, the guy said something to the extent of, if you want to become a doctor, you do not say every single day, I want to be a doctor. You say, I am a doctor. Because the way the brain works and the neurons work, it begins to change your patterns. So that way you might now look up classes. You might now take the time out to study or read a bit more into this. And subconsciously you start aligning yourself with your purpose. Like Kanye West, for example, everyone thought he was very cocky. I love Kanye. I love Kanye. I do. I'm sorry. He always used to say that he was the best rapper alive. And everybody used to be like, how dare he? How dare he not? How dare he not say that he's the best rapper alive? He's not saying that this person was less than him or this person. He's proclaiming his greatness. And that was an affirmation. But it's looked at as this person thinks they're better than me. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is that you need to believe that you're deserving enough to get more. That's the first thing. That's the first point of breaking out of the lack mindset. Mm-hmm. Is thinking you deserve more. You're not going to meet better men if you only think you deserve this type of guy.
Yeah. But I look good. I may look like I have it together, but I don't. And I think the ways that I adapt, even in those tough times, are through affirmations. And I find like if I look at myself in the mirror for too long, I'm like, hold on. Let me tell God, thank you. Let me serve that gratitude. Let me express these affirmations to a point where I'm able to believe what I'm saying. And what I say to myself, I can also say to God. And God knows that my heart is for myself, of course, but it's also for him too. It's sharing that gratitude and that love. And I just thank you for mentioning that. So when we're creating our vision boards, do you think words are more effective or images when it comes to like when we look at it every time? Because remember you said our lives are pretty much on these vision boards. So what is most effective for us to receive the message we're trying to get? Words or images?
Well, both, because they both work in conjunction with one another. Typically with branding, one of the biggest aspects of my job is making sure that the actual copy, which is the verbiage, follows the brand and it's aligned. Okay. Because overall, one of the most basic approaches, surprisingly, is color psychology. Okay. Because all colors affect the way we feel and they invoke specific emotions. Okay. So once you think about the way you want to feel, it then changes the way you begin mapping out your mood board. Okay. When I think of, like, for example, when I want to think of, abundance, lushness, luxury, elegance, opulence. Yeah. You start by saying those words, you then begin to see the images in your head. Yes. You begin seeing it once you hear those certain words, because those words, like, for example, when you hear the word sad, what do you think of? Blue. Exactly. Yeah. When you think of the word happy, what do you think of? So hearing the word helps you envision the image. Okay. So I would say work with both. Think about the way you want to feel. And then once you think about the way you want to feel, then you begin finding the images. Maybe you'll find somebody with a crown on their head. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll, the color black, for example, is associated with opulence, especially in color psychology. The vision boards are black, y'all. Yeah. So actually, the color black is affiliated with sophistication, with elegance, with sleekness, cleanness, opulence. So even just thinking of that and keeping that in mind, you'll begin to subconsciously pick the images that align with you for that. But again, like I said, the vision board, it's not just this board in front of you. It's literally you taking every aspect of your life and kind of just seeing it in front of you to just have one compact way of viewing everything, because dreams are big. Absolutely. Right? And it seems like they're so hard to catch and chase, but the vision board is an opportunity for you to just kind of see what it looks like in front of you at a glimpse.